All right, what's good, YouTube? Today is June 23rd, 2026, and I am back with another trade recap. So today I ended up making around $5,300. Um, yeah, so let's get straight into it. I'll walk you guys through what I was thinking, what I seen this morning, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, you know, looking at price today, obviously, we did this and overnight. So we dumped 800 points or so, right? Um, let's see. Yeah, about eight, 900 points. Um, so knowing this and knowing how the market does react to dropping so many points, I knew going into this day that number one, the likelihood that we're just gonna continue dumping lower off of this move here without some sort of retracement, that is unlikely. Okay. I had a 4 hour low marked out to swing low as my draw on liquidity for the day. It also aligns with the previous day low, so I thought that was a significant low that we could trade towards, and we are trading towards that. But moving on, honestly, I didn't like any sort of long this morning. I said in the Discord I would mind looking at some sort of long, but um with how bearish price was and we weren't getting any real follow through on a lot of these moves to rebalance higher, um I wasn't really that big of a fan of it, if I'm being real. um so I took a rejection block entry today. um so the context behind this trade was that we SMT this high on ES, right? um ES and NQ today were super discorrelated. um you know Price action just wasn't overall great, but that's just summer price action, I suppose. Um, so SMTB high. So I drew out the consequent encroachment on the 1 hour candle because the 4 hour candle above it, it's a 4 hour fair value gap at this point now, but we did not have this here at the time. Um, so the draw at that point in time would have been this 4 hour fair value gap there. Um, And at that point, I did not want to wait for some sort of trade back into here, manipulate higher and higher, take out all this LR to go lower. Um, that's just not something I was going to wait for personally. And I said in the Discord, if I'm going to take this trade, I'd use light size. I lied. Um, I used decently heavy size, like 2, 3 minis. Um, I took the rejection block right off of the tap of the 50% because I figured, okay, we're either going to reject here with the rejection block, or we're going to continue to go higher and trade back into the bearish 1 hour, which was always a possibility. So I put the stop right above the swing high here with the SMT high. And yeah, I let price action do its thing. Price action do its thing. Um, you know, we trade into it with this initial tap there. I entered off of the rejection of the tap. There's probably like a 15-second IFVG if I wanted to get really technical about what I'm seeing here. Um, and I had to let price do its thing. For targets, I chose a 15-minute fair value gap as the target, right? Because I figured, all right, if we are going to go higher to rebalance, like higher to go lower, right? I figured, all right, the first point of possible rejection for the trade would have been that 15-minute fair value gap. Okay. And I could have left runners for the contracts all the way down to, this low here or that low or, something. But I chose something modest because I wanted to stick to my word, like I said yesterday, that I would lower my targets and just, take, you know, smaller points trades, but more size potentially. Um, you know, So on replay, these candles are probably going to look fairly clean, but we're hesitating. We're not getting good follow through. We're pulling back into it, and at this point, I'm thinking, damn, maybe we could go higher and rebalance it. It's fine if we do, but we're not getting follow through like you're seeing. So at this point in the Discord, I'm kind of telling people to, you know, just be careful, right? Maybe trim off a couple contracts here for a small loss, or, you know, just be careful, like be smart, right? We're not getting good follow through. The conditions for the day aren't incredible. All right. So what we end up doing here is we're still somewhat in the zone, right, of this rejection block. So this can work still. So I'm still full size on it. I'm still trusting the setup. I think things could work out because, especially now knowing that we have that 15-minute unfill below and we do have an SMT at the hourly high, it makes sense to kind of go lower to rebalance to maybe go higher and then go lower. Okay. So waiting. We end up getting some follow through here, but again, we're just getting bought back up. As far as I knew, there wasn't some sort of 5 minute because this whole move up, the price leg was pretty balanced out in price. So we didn't end up leaving any sort of significant 5 minute gap. There's one here, it's small, but it aligns with my take profit. So I wasn't too worried about it. Okay. We also have this 5 minute unfill below. It also, I mean, that could have been something you could have looked at later with, when you're targeting your LR. But, this wasn't something I was really, you know, worried about. But the only thing I was worried about in the trade was follow through. We got no follow through. Then we get two good displacement candles here. And, that's the trade for the day, right? The trade ends up playing out much further. If you would have left a runner, that's probably your break even, right? The rejection block would have, it would have paid. But, I don't want to get greedy and, go lower size here and, target something all the way down here that I know is low probability. Get your slice of the pie and, move out of the trade because there's no need for, unnecessary risk. The better entry here, honestly, probably would have been waiting for the displacement here and then maybe taking something off of the inverse fair value gap on that leg there, targeting this unfilled 5. That would have been a much, much cleaner trade. But even still, we are throwing a lot of wicks back into that zone, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But, in your trade, you want clean follow through, like something kind of like, something kind of like that here, right? You don't want to see all this chop and consolidation and just indecision like you have here. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite trade I've ever taken, like I said. I thought the trade worked out pretty well for what I was dealing with and what I was given. Price action on the day wasn't great. Rebalancing, all these gaps is going to take a while. But maybe we see some sort of upside after we take out the previous day low here, and maybe hopefully we continue higher. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I will see you later. Peace.